All right, boys. Hello and happy New Year to all of you. It's 2026, and um, I'll just get right into it. I've been away for a while. I was on and off, and I've made videos like this before, but this is probably going to be the realest one that I've ever made. Um, I'm going to edit it and try to cut out a lot of the unnecessary pauses or anything else like that just for the sake of the flow of this video, because if I leave it unedited, it might be really long. Um, so yeah, as you guys know, I've been gone. I haven't posted on anything. I've very, very infrequently been posting on TikTok. Also, I apologize for the echo. I'm in a brand new apartment, which I will get into in a couple minutes. But I haven't posted on YouTube in months. I haven't posted really anything. I've been just completely off the grid. And to be honest, I really debated doing this, making this video. But I think it's something that I need to do to progress, because one thing about me is that no matter how hard shit gets or no matter how many times I get knocked on my ass, and man, have I been knocked on my ass, especially this last year, 2025. But no matter how hard I fall, I will never stop chasing what I feel my heart pulls me towards, which is social media, content creation, trading, entrepreneurship, media, entertainment, streaming, all of that kind of stuff. That is my call. Like, that's what I feel my heart, drawn towards. And I will never give up on that, no matter what. I don't care how hard I fall or, how hard shit gets. I will always keep going. I don't know how long it will take till I get to where I want to be, but I will keep going. 2025 was the hardest year of my entire life, mentally. And a lot of other things that I'll get into. And I will just preface this by saying I'm about to get extremely personal and transparent, like more so than I ever have before. And I hope that by listening to this, you can maybe relate to me in some ways, because I think a major problem with our generation, I'm assuming that if you're watching this, you're around my age, 21, maybe you're in your late teens, early 20s, whatever. But I feel like a lot of the things that I'm about to say you could probably relate to, but the problem with our generation, guys, is that we are too afraid to talk about stuff like this, especially as men, because for one, there is a social construct, a social expectation that as a man, you are not supposed to kind of, show emotion or, whatever. You get what I'm trying to say. And in general, you just don't, you don't want to do it. You don't want to feel like a burden to anyone else. You don't want to go over to someone feeling like a pity party, like, oh, I've been down about this, that, yada, yada, because that everyone's got their own problems. Everyone's dealing with their own shit at the end of the day. That's life. Everyone's going through their own shit. Everyone's got struggles that they go through every single day. Some people might have it worse than others, but that doesn't change the fact that we are all going through shit, and that's just the way that life is. It's inevitable. It's the way that you handle it that will set you apart from everyone else. But pretty much I'm just going to vent, because I feel like I've been lying to myself about who I am and pretending to be someone I'm not. And I'm really tired of it. And I'm just going to explain to you guys a lot of things that happened to me this year. I have to not talk about certain things just for privacy reasons of other people that were involved in certain situations. But I'm going to try to be as transparent as possible. And I want you guys to know that you're not alone. Because this year, for the first time ever in my life, like legitimately, maybe a little bit of a trigger warning here, but I legitimately, like, seriously thought about I don't know how to say this for YouTube to not kind of hit me with the hammer, but I think you know what I'm trying to say. And I'll try not to get too emotional. I'm probably going to cut a lot of this part out, but it's hard to talk about. But basically, one major thing that happened was I went through a really rough breakup. And I know in the wide scheme of things, you're probably thinking, oh, there must have been something a lot worse, a breakup, like whatever. But like what I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of things that I can't talk about on here. I wish I could, just to vent and kind of get it off my chest. But for privacy reasons of people that were involved in certain situations, I can't speak on certain things, just out of respect and privacy for other people. But I went through one of the hardest experiences this year, which, it was my breakup, and, a lot of string of other events that occurred around it, and as well as, things that weren't related to my relationship at all. But I was like extremely depressed this last year. And I lived with Steph. And I don't think, Steph, I don't know if you're watching this, bro, but I don't think that I never really talked to him about it, just because, like I said, I never really go to anyone to talk about things because I know that everyone has their own issues and I don't want to add to anyone's load. So, I just keep it to myself, as most of you guys probably do too. I'm sure that a lot of you guys, men out there, can relate to what I'm saying, right? And we live together, and, I was super depressed. I just couldn't bring myself to do anything. This is in the last couple of months especially, and it was just really hard. I was hurting myself physically because I was angry at myself, because I felt like I was such a I would, even still, I look in the mirror and I don't like what I see. Physically too, physically, but mostly what's on the inside. And the problem is, I just feel like I've been so fake to myself, fake to you guys online, because pretty much my trading journey from last year, pretty much this was the plan for last year. So I moved down to Florida from New York a little over 2 years ago now. I lived in Sarasota, Florida for a year, where I worked as a bartender and a front desk associate at this restaurant. And I worked there for a year. I lived in this townhouse with some other friends that I met through Steph, because pretty much how I moved down to Florida was I met Steph on Discord. We became good friends by playing Xbox together. And then I eventually started coming down here to hang out with him. And then I eventually moved here because his friends had an extra room in their townhouse for me, and it was cheap. It was all under the table, so I didn't have to get like approved for anything. So I pretty much just packed up my bags from my parents' house in New York like a year after graduating high school, and I moved down here to just pursue my dreams of this, which I still believe truly is my plan. Whatever. That year goes by, barely scraping by, just working my job. Wasn't making fucking jack shit from trading. Right. At this point, I was probably only a little over a year into my trading journey, completely unprofitable. Then the next year, actually maybe a year and a half, 2 years, probably like 2 years. So at January of 2025, so pretty much, exactly a year ago from 1 year ago from today, is when Steph and I moved into the house in Tampa together. Now, Steph, if you're watching this, I want you to know genuinely how much everything you've done for me means to me. And I just am so grateful for everything you've done for me. And I pray that I one day will be able to pay you back tenfold. Steph moved me into this house completely free of charge. He told me he got this, he would pay the rent. He would pay the electric, everything. I didn't pay a single penny worth of rent or living expenses in that house for the entire year of 2025. Because Steph basically believed in me so much that I was going to blow up, and I just needed to kind of get that final push and be surrounded by, other people doing it, such as himself, Z, CRV, and that's how I met all them. They're some of my closest friends now. And I'm very grateful for that. But I'm nowhere close to on their level. And during 2025, I actually had a couple months where I did really, really well from trading. There was 1 month where I had, significant amounts of pay. I had over 5 payouts in 1 month. Across multiple accounts, and I was doing great. And then we had these such big plans that, we're going to start the podcast. We're going to, do all this and this. It was this whole big scheme where we're going to live together and it's going to be crazy. We're going to have this group, this content group, all this stuff. And it fell through, right? We tried at a lot of the stuff that we planned on doing, but ultimately, none of it ever really stuck. And I feel so guilty that none of it stuck. One, because I know that it's what we both wanted, right? But most importantly, Steph believed in me so much that he said, you can live, rent free a year to just grind. And I definitely did grind. I will admit I didn't grind as hard as I could have. I 100% could have worked harder. And I will admit that there were times where I was lazy. There were times where I was very lazy. And I'm ashamed of myself for it. And I feel like I let him down. I feel like I let myself down. I feel like I let a lot of other people that believed in me down. And when I look in the mirror, I just feel like I'm behind. I feel like I'm nowhere near where I should be. Which, I still believe with every carbon fiber of my being that I will achieve everything that I want to. And me coming back like this is proof of that. And I'm going to be so transparent with you guys. There were nights in this last year where I made a lot. There were times where I made a lot of money, but then especially in these last the second half of the year, was when I had this really dark time. And it wasn't because of my breakup or the other things I said I can't talk about, or my suicidal thoughts and dreams, terrible dreams that I was having for months on end. But it was a combination of all of that, as well as just hating myself. And it's something I still struggle with. When I look, guys, the truth is, there's really no easy way to say this, but I don't like who I am. I'm not proud of myself. I don't feel like I am worthy of really anything. I don't feel deserving of everything that Steph did for me. I don't feel deserving of things that are handed to me. I don't feel deserving of love. I don't feel deserving of friendship. And I do know why I feel that way. But I just, sorry. My biggest struggle is just looking in the mirror and hating who I am. The thing that I want the most, more than to feel love from to find a wife or have a family or make a lot of money or, be successful in all these other pillars of my life. I just want to be able to feel deserving of the things that I just mentioned, and I want to be able to feel proud of myself. And I think the problem is that my expectation for myself is so high that even though no matter how hard I work on something, I kind of just never feel like it's enough. Like, the best example I can think of is like when I first started lifting, you look at 225 on the bench and you're like, wow, that's a crazy amount of weight. Like 225, I'm like, man, I hope one day I can bench 225. I can rep 225 for like 10 on a good day right now. But when I'm in the gym, I look at myself in the mirror and I say, I'm like, damn, I'm so weak, bro. I need more. I need to rep 315. I'm not strong. And it's not even just that. It's that I think a lot of it stems from my childhood, because I've never really talked about this openly on anywhere, but I was sexually abused for a significant period of time when I was very young. When I was 8 years old, for a couple months, and I was picked on relentlessly all throughout my schooling career for how skinny I was, how small I was. And I feel like my whole life I've just yearned for this, to feel like, to feel like I'm deserving, for lack of a better word. And guys, the truth is, I don't know how to love myself. But I think the first step from just the first thing that came off the top of my head is like, Mark, I was just like, Mark, like, just, you've been gone, bro. You got knocked down. There's a chance that wouldn't even be sitting here today if it weren't for just like this such a strong desire to know that one day all of the struggle that I've been through in my life will one day be worth it. Because those nights where I was so dark, where I would drink myself out of it, or I would smoke. I started smoking cigarettes for months. I was chain smoking cigarettes. I was drinking with no one would know. No one would know I was drinking to just suppress this. And there was nights where I was so dark, and I would look at myself in the mirror. I would cry in my room alone, trying to be quiet so Steph wouldn't hear me. And I would just say, like, what is the point of me being here? Because I just I'm waking up and, I'm just fucking feeling like I don't belong anywhere and that I'm not deserving of anything. So what the fuck am I even doing here? I'm just taking up fucking space. But there is always that feeling in my heart that I know that I can't give up. Because I would think these things, and I would ground myself, and I would say, Mark, you cannot give up. Because if I give up, then that would have meant that all of my suffering would have been for nothing. I've been so insecure about so many things. My physical appearance, I started taking Accutane. I don't know if you guys could tell, this shit's really working. My skin's really started to clear up. I'm trying to grow out my hair. I'm trying to just become better in every way. But I feel like I'm looking for all the things that I want in the wrong place, right? I always find myself saying now, once I make 10K a month consistently and I get a BMW M3, then I'll be happy. Right? I find myself saying stuff like this all the time. I find myself saying, oh, well, shit's kind of rough right now, but once I get a girlfriend, I'll be happy and I'll feel fulfilled. But the truth is, I know that one day when I do have those things, I probably still will feel like there's a piece of me missing, or that I'm, something's just not right. Because when I was 16 years old, my car that I really wanted was the exact car that I drive now. And I felt like this way how I'm explaining how I've been feeling, I felt my whole life. Obviously there have been more extreme moments where I felt it more, but it's always been this lurking feeling in the back of my mind. But when I was 16, for example, I used to say, man, once I have a souped up Subaru STI on bags, like, I'm going to be the happiest man alive. I have it. I used to say once I get my own apartment and I live alone and I get to have free will over whatever I want to do, then I'll be happy. Here I am. Brand new apartment, 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, brand new building. Here I am crying to the camera. So, guys, my bottom line is, don't ever fucking give up. Okay. Now, the reason that I'm doing this is for a couple reasons. The biggest is just because I've had all this bottled up and I've just been going about my life and trying to keep a smile on my face as much as I can. But number two is to be the voice of, and I'm not by no means, I have an extremely small audience. And if you're watching up to this point, it really, truly means the world to me. If you're still watching this. But there are too many people in our generation that are scared of being perceived, right? A certain way. Everyone wants to look good. Everyone wants people to look at them and say, wow, he's living a great fucking life. Right? When you go to post something on your Instagram or your Snapchat, you don't post pictures or videos of you being down. You post highlights of your life to make it look like you've got it all figured out. I know I do. I'm guilty of it. Right? Everything I've posted on my Instagram this year, people probably look at it and think I'm having the greatest fucking time of my life. Meanwhile, every night for the last 3 months, I've been locked in my room sobbing away. Just so in just such a hole in such darkness. And that's the problem, guys. I genuinely believe that social media has played a huge role in the way that I've felt over the last couple of months, and it has fried my fucking brain and my expectations of where I should be at in life. Not only my expectations of where I should be at in life, but just the scrolling and, I spend so much time just frying my fucking brain, and it's not what we were meant to do, guys. And when you're scrolling away, all you're seeing is highlights of people's lives. But the problem is that shit's all fake, bro. It's all fucking fake. And I've been fake, bro. I've been fucking fake. These whole last couple of years since I started making trading content, I was fucking poor, bro. There was nights this last year in 2025 where I had literally $0 to my fucking name. There were nights where I went to bed hungry because I couldn't even afford a fucking $5 McDouble meal deal from McDonald's. There were nights where I went to bed hungry because I couldn't afford to eat. Yet, what did I post on my? What would I post on my story? Pictures of me going out to the club and having a great time, music blasting with all my boys, looking like we're having the fucking time of our lives, and it's a lie. I lied, guys. I lied to you, and I lied to myself, and I'm done lying. And I think that's a big reason why I feel like I look in the mirror and I don't like what I see, because I know that I'm low-key fucking frauding. And I'm done pretending to be someone that I'm fucking not, bro. It's tiring. And the reason I do it is because my whole life, I have just wanted people this ties back into what I was explaining earlier. I have just wanted to feel respect. I've wanted so much from how much I got picked on and taken advantage of throughout my whole life. All I wanted was just people to look at me and say, damn, Mark is a fucking beast. Like, for lack of a better word, all I want is people to look at me and just say, damn, Mark's a fucking animal. He's got it all figured out. I don't got shit figured out, guys. I don't got jack fucking shit figured out. That's the honest to God truth. I'm winging it every single fucking day. Okay? My parents are helping me pay for this apartment. I'm paying as much as I possibly can off of work that I've been doing from home online. And I'm extremely blessed for that. Without my parents, I'd be fucking homeless. So, Mom and Dad, if you're watching this, I love you guys so much. Steph, if you're watching this, Habibi, if you're watching this, I love you, man, so much for everything you've done for me too. And it's, guys, I'm so grateful that I have people that are looking out. Like, that's the one redeeming quality that I always fall back on. I'm like, you know what, man? I don't feel like I'm deserving of help from all these people, but I think it says something about my character that I have a lot of people that believe in me. And that, guys, is more important than trying to impress people that I don't know. Why the fuck am I trying, guys, this is something I do. Why am I trying to impress people that bullied me in high school? Like, that's what when I post some, I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. When I post on my fucking stories or some shit, I'm like, yeah, not going to say any names, but I'm like, yeah, when so-and-so sees this, they're going to be like, yeah, like, Mark's a fucking boss now. And I was a dickhead for fucking being a dick to him in high school. Or my ex-girlfriends. I'm like, yeah, when I post this, she's going to see this and she's going to be real mad that because it looks like I'm up. Guys, I'm fucking done frauding on social media. I'm done pretending to be someone I'm not. I'm done trying to, number one, I'm done trying to impress people that don't even fucking care about me. Because what's the fucking point? Why am I trying to impress people that don't care about me? I don't know why I do it. It's human psychology, guys. I'm sure that you are probably guilty of it too. And the honest to God truth is that if you're like watching this, I really hope that it just makes you fuck with me more, because I'm just laying it flat out, bro. I'm not holding back anymore, and I'm being so dead ass honest with you guys about my life situation, where I've been at, my headspace. Thankfully now I'm in a lot more clear of a headspace, especially moving into this new apartment. You know, I've got plans for myself, and I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, this is the year where I'm going to accomplish everything. Because I've been saying that for the last couple of years, and here I am. I've made progress, which is what matters. So I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, I'm going to accomplish everything, but I'm going to make progress. And as long as I keep making progress, that's what matters. My goal for myself in the foreseeable future is to fall back in love with the process. Because in my life, that is where I have found the most success. When I get satisfaction from just doing the tasks involved in chasing my dreams, not getting so wrapped up in the end goal. Right? My goal for the foreseeable future is to fall back in love with talking to this camera, fall back in love with interacting with you guys, fall back in love with trading with this community, with everything. And a big goal of mine in my personal life is to work on myself so that, you know, I can be like, you know, Mark, like, I'm proud of you, man. I just want to be able to look in the mirror, give myself a pat on the back, and be like, you're doing great, bro. And the thing is, I know that I am. It's not like I'm, you know, completely falling off the rails and I just have no ambition or anything. Right? I have a very high drive, and honestly, I'm proud of myself for making this video, being this vulnerable, and getting back up off my fucking ass from one of the darkest, if not the darkest time of my life that I hope I never have to experience again. And, you know, I wouldn't say that I'm even still fully recovered from everything that I went through this year, or this last year, I guess I should say. But guys, I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I want to get off my chest, but I think that mostly covers it. Moving forward, I think I'm just going to try to post as much raw content on here as possible, just like this. I'll go over trading. I might stream. So I do plan on beginning to start streaming trading again, and trying to snowball my trading as much as possible. Because like I was explaining earlier, my trading during 2025 was going very well for the first half of the year. And then when a lot of other factors in my life started to crumble, lost all my money, I had to liquidate my Roth IRA and my investment accounts. I was in and out of jobs just trying to make ends meet, and I wasn't even paying fucking rent. I was just trying to make enough money to fucking buy groceries for myself. And then when everything else started to fall down, trading's a mental game. You guys know that. And you can imagine how fucked up shit got for me. It was bad. Lost all my accounts. I had, I don't even remember. It's like all a blur now. I don't even remember how. I had multiple XFAs and live accounts that I was getting payouts from. And then I blew them all. They got all fucked. And it was just downhill from there. But we're fucking back. We're fucking back. And guys, honestly, if you watch to the end of this video, I genuinely want to say that I fucking love you, bro. Or girls, whoever you are, I love you. Because this has been one of the hardest things I've ever done. Knowing that I'm just going to basically completely open myself up as much as possible for literally anybody on the internet to see. Anyone from my hometown, old, people that picked on me that I'm trying to impress, I don't give a fuck anymore, bro. Because honestly, I think it's more noble of me to do this than to keep pretending that I'm someone I'm not. And honestly, doing this, this feels really good. That I feel like this whole weight has come off my chest, and I don't have to act anymore. I don't have to pretend like I'm some fucking trading guru making $100,000 a month, or even. I honestly didn't even really lie about that much. I never claimed to make a lot of money. Any money that I said I was making from trading at early in the first half of last year was 100% true. So but I was never open about the fact about how much I struggled. And that's the thing. I never really lied. I wasn't oh, I make $50,000 a month. I never lied specifically about any monetary value or things that I had like that. But I feel like I kind of implied it. I never outright said it. I kind of implied it. Any monetary statement I said that I actually was making, I definitely did not lie about, because I wouldn't do that to begin with. And I remember I was like, yeah, I'm never going to pretend to make more money than I actually do. I might imply it to make people think that I'm doing better off than I actually am. Yeah, guys, that's it, man. So if you guys want to hit me up on fucking Discord or Instagram or whatever bullshit, leave a comment on this video. Feel free. And I want to let you guys know that if you are going through a hard time, please just keep telling yourself, this is at least what I did, was saying earlier, that if you give up, all of your suffering will be for nothing. I believe truly that suffering and pain, hardship, is beneficial for us long term. Because I think about how much I learned from this last year. How hard it was, but how much I learned about myself. About certain people that were in my life or who are in my life, things that I learned about how the world works, but especially things that I learned about myself. And I believe that it's all just a part of the plan. It's all a part of the process. And guys, I have plenty of videos like this that I've made as notes to my future self on my phone. Because like I was saying earlier, I never really would go to anyone to talk about things with. I would go to my mom sometimes. Mom, I love you if you're watching this, for always being there. But 90% of the time, I would just bottle it up and keep it to myself. And if it really got to the point where I feel like I needed to vent or just speak out loud, I would record it on my phone. Wouldn't post it, do anything with it. I would just record it. And I have all of those videos, and there's plenty of them in a folder on my phone. I just want to make myself proud. I want to make the people that believe in me proud. Because I know I'm capable. And I don't care how long it takes. I will never stop fucking fighting for this shit. And I can't wait for the day that I look back on all of my notes that I've written to myself on my computer and my notes on my phone, or the videos I was just talking about. One day I'm going to look back at all of this, and I'm going to say, if it weren't for that struggle, I wouldn't be here, because I wouldn't have learned all the things that I did if I didn't struggle. And that's life, guys. Life is accepting the struggle and the hardship, being mature enough to embrace it, to feel the emotion, but to understand that it's for a reason. And to not pretend like you're fine when you're not. Because that is what takes the hardest toll on you. I'm no fucking therapist, but just remember that all the hardship will be for nothing if you give up. Because there will come a day. There's nothing in this life that I truly believe more with every fiber of my being, that one day I will be able to look back on all of this and I'll cry. I'll cry a lot. I'll cry really hard, because I'll look at this and I'll say, wow, I remember when I was 21 and I remember that night. I'm going to remember this night. I'm going to remember recording this for the rest of my life. Because for the first time in my life, I feel like I'm I'm not trying to exaggerate, but I feel like I'm fucking reborn, dude. Actually, on my, sorry to get off, this isn't really off topic, but I wanted to bring this up. So I was just in New York, where I'm originally from, visiting my family for Christmas, for the holidays. And on my flight back from New York back here to Florida, I sat next to this guy, middle-aged guy, Brazilian, Brazilian accent, you could hear it. And, he asked me, he was just asking, we were just having, making small talk. Oh, how long you been in Florida, yada, 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 where you from, all that good stuff. And he asked me what I do for work. And I said, well, I am a day trader, which is true. And And we started talking about, the stock market. We started talking about investments. He said he was into AI stuff, and we were talking about how, OpenAI is going public this year, some IPOs, all that stuff, just making more small talk. And then he said to me that before the flight, or he said to me when he was sitting there next to me, he said, the best investment you can make is in your soul, is in yourself and your soul and in your eternal life. Now, I'm not super religious, but he told me that before we boarded on the flight, he prayed and he asked God, he said, it's exactly what he told me. He said he prayed and he said he asked God to put him on a flight next to someone who needed help or who needed to hear that he wasn't alone or that God was there for him. And I said, really? You actually prayed to be put next to someone who needed it? And he was like, yeah, I swear by it. I swear I did. So I was kind of like, that's might be just a coincidence, but that feels pretty crazy. And I pretty much talked to him the entire flight about, this. I opened up to him, a complete stranger. I was a little hesitant at first just because I don't, like I explained earlier, I don't really like to open up. It's especially weird to a stranger, someone I've never met. But as our conversation went on, I loosened up more. I got a lot more comfortable. I started sharing a lot of everything that I've said in this video with him. And it just opened my eyes, especially even more so than I already had been feeling, that this is my calling. And honestly, if it weren't for that conversation, I don't know if I would have got back up. Because when I walked off that plane, I held my fucking head so high and I felt so fucking good that I was going to come back from the worst, darkest pit of my life, where I was drinking, I was smoking cigarettes, I was hurting myself. I would have these extreme anger attacks where I would purposely punch hard objects to make my hands bleed. Because I was angry. I was sad. I was hurting. And I walked off that plane yesterday. New Year's Eve, I flew in. And that conversation that I had, I got back to my apartment and I was like, I've never been a super religious. I do believe in God, right? I don't necessarily know exactly what I believe in though, but I know through experience and through things like that there is an energy and there is a purpose for me in this life. So I walked off that plane with my head so high, and I thought all night last night after I got off the plane, all day today, about making this video. Because when I first got on that plane, before I met, the guy sitting next to me, I was just kind of like, I'm going to fly back to Florida. I want to get back into things, but I don't really know what to do. I still don't know what to do, but this is a huge step for me, and that conversation just pushed me, and I feel good, guys. Matter of fact, I feel fucking great that all of this is off my shoulders, and I'm proud of myself. I know I'm just yapping, but we're really coming full circle here, because I'm proud of myself for being courageous enough to do this, for being courageous enough to admit that I feel like I've been lying to myself, to be courageous to it enough to admit, or a man enough to admit that in 2025, I could have worked harder and I could have been a much better son. I could have been a much better brother, and I could have been a much better boyfriend. But I learned a lot about myself, and I've learned about a lot of things that I need to improve on in my life. And each and every day moving forward, I will try to just be better in every aspect of my life. I will try to be kinder to people. I will try to be kinder to myself. I will try to feel more positive thoughts and put a more positive outlook into this world. I will try to help people. I will try to listen better. I will try to be a better son and brother and boyfriend if need be. I just want to be the best man that I can be. Really. I want to feel respected. I want to impress people. But my biggest goal in life, guys, when it gets late at night, I realize that it's not the money. It's maybe not the cars. It's not all this shit. It's to be proud of the man that I am, and it's to be able to say that I left a positive mark on other people, and I helped other people, and I just, that I was just a good person. That's it. I just want to be the best. I just want to be the best man that I can be for myself and for those close to me, and for anyone that I encounter, because that is just like, that's what it's all about, guys. And this revelation that I've had, it feels good to understand, and I'm just gonna keep doing all this because I love it and I want to chase my dreams. I want to make a lot of money, but I need to do this to be proud of myself and for what I feel like I need to do to become, better for myself. I need to stick to my process, stick to what I say I'm going to do. And, I can't wait for the day where I can look back on this with just the biggest smile on my face, knowing that I did it, because I know that I will one day. With that being said, guys, I think I got everything off my chest. If you watch this thing the whole way through, I really appreciate it, and I want you to join me on this journey this year to be honest with yourself and to get to work and to take care of business, to grow spiritually, to grow physically, to grow mentally, to grow. Happy New Year, guys. Let's fucking do this.